Hello everybody, it is me, Analyst Burrage, and I am here bringing you my NBA playoff predictions. Now, I don't have a horse in this race, as even though I'm not a Suns fan, I do root for Kevin Durant, and he is on the Suns, and they didn't even make the play-in. So I don't have a horse in this race, so I'm not biased. So if I pick your favorite team to lose in the first round or whatever, don't get mad at me, okay? Let's get into it. Okay, so first for the play-in, I'm not going to break down the play-in. I'm just going to tell you who I got winning. So in the East, well, we'll start with the West because that's first on this Pick'em Bracket Challenge. I have the Warriors beating the Grizzlies, and I have the Kings beating the Mavericks. Then I have the Grizzlies beating the Kings. So the Warriors would be the 7th seed, the Grizzlies would be the 8th seed, okay? So the first round, Thunder versus Grizzlies. Most people would say the Thunder are so much better. They have 20 more wins than the Grizzlies. I think this series actually goes 6 games. The Grizzlies are actually really good. They were the 2nd seed in the West for a little bit before, of course, they fired the coach. They dealt with some injuries. I think the series does go 6. The Thunder do win. No 68-win team in the modern era is going to lose in the first round. I don't think any 68-win team has ever lost in the first round. There's only been 7 68-win teams in NBA history. The Thunder are one of them. The Thunder also have the highest point differential in NBA history, like per game. They beat a 50-year-old record. It's crazy. Next series is the Denver Nuggets versus the Los Angeles Clippers. I have the Nuggets winning in 7, even though I'm not too confident in that. The Clippers are the hottest team in the NBA. I think they won 8 straight games. They just beat the Warriors in a very close game, a thriller to get this 5th seed to play the Nuggets, which knocked the Warriors down in the play-in. Kawhi's been playing amazing. James Harden's been playing like an All-NBA player, but the Nuggets have the best player in the world and probably one of the best players, like, peaking in NBA history. He just averaged a triple-double, only the 3rd player to ever do that. Russell Westbrook did it 4 times, and Oscar Robertson did it once. Jokic, in my opinion, is so far ahead of everyone else when it comes to skill and effect. To me, even though I picked SGA as the MVP, I know this is such a drawn-out conversation. Jokic should be the MVP. That's all I'm going to say about it. But Jokic should be the MVP, even though SGA deserves it as well. And SGA will probably win it. A big factor in this game will probably be how Ivica Zubac, who is one of the most underrated players in the NBA right now, will handle Nikola Jokic. Now, no one's going to stop Nikola Jokic, but can Ivica Zubac play some good defense, give rebounds, and score some post points? If they can, the Clippers' chances skyrocket. But if you can't, Nuggets probably win in 6 instead of 7, but we'll see how that goes. Now for the fan-favorite Los Angeles Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, a lot of people are saying this was the worst possible matchup for the Lakers. Yeah, you could say that. I still got the Lakers winning in 5 games, though. Just for the sole reason that Julius Randle is a terrible playoff performer. He is incredibly bad, and we all know that. At least the people who actually know basketball, we all know that. So I think, even though Anthony Edwards is probably Luka at his best he's probably better than Anthony Edwards, but on any given night, Anthony Edwards could be the best player on that court. But the Lakers have too much. They have 3 20-point per game scorers: LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves. This is probably the best Laker team since the 2020 bubble team. And it might actually be better. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I got the Lakers winning in 5. Now for the 2-7 matchup, Warriors versus the Rockets. Now, the way I pick this series all depends on how badly injured Jimmy Butler is. Because he did have a knee injury with, I think, Kawhi Leonard on Sunday. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's nothing serious, because I want each team to be at full strength as much as they can in the playoffs. Now, if Jimmy Butler is there, I got the Warriors in 7. The Rockets are kind of in the same situation that the Thunder were in last year. People were saying they were too young. They were like a year or 2 away. This is how I feel about the Rockets. Now, the Rockets could definitely jump up in the next year or 2 to a perennial title contender, but right now I just think they're too young. They do have a really bright future. I got the Warriors in 7 here. Steph Curry, one of the greatest players of all time, in my opinion. He's top 10. So, I like the Warriors' chances. Now, throughout the entire season, I said that the Warriors' best chances of winning a first-round playoff series was if they faced the Rockets. And if they won their play-in game against the Grizzlies, they would face the Rockets. And I like their chances. Now, as we go over to the East side, we're going to start with the East play-in. Now, all of these teams, except for maybe the Magic, are not that good. And the Magic, the only reason they're in the play-in is because they were injured. Like, they were one of the most injured teams, and I think they won 40 or 41 games. So I got the Magic beating the Hawks to get that 7th seed. I got the Bulls beating the Heat, and I got the Bulls beating the Hawks to get that 8th seed over the Hawks. The Bulls have been playing really good. So on to the first round, the Cavaliers versus the Bulls. The Cavaliers just mopped them up. Cavs in 4. There's really not much to say. The Cavaliers are a 64-win team, the number 1 seed in the East, versus the Bulls team that was like 10 games below 500. There's just not really much to say here. I would like to add that I did predict in the preseason that the Bulls would make the playoffs. After last season, they won like 25 games, and people called me crazy. Now, obviously, they had some trades, but like the Bulls still made the playoffs, so I was right. Give me my respect. The Pacers versus the Bucks. Just like last year when the Pacers played the Bucks were really injured. I think the Bucks didn't play Giannis the entire series. They only had Dame for like 2 or 3 games. This year, Giannis is fully healthy to the best of his ability, but Dame has some sort of blood clot, so he might maybe come back during like the later half of the series. But for the first 3 or 4 games, he won't be there. I think that'll be really crucial for the Pacers winning. Now, if you all know, I'm based in Indiana, so people watching this are probably from Indiana. We all know that the Pacers got extremely lucky, to be honest, about all the injury luck they had last season in the playoffs, which boosted them to the conference finals. I think the Pacers beat the Bucks in 6. Next series, Knicks versus Pistons. I got the Knicks in 5, even though they've shown that they're not really a title contender. In my opinion, they're a pretender type of team. But the Pistons, they're playing with house money. They shouldn't be here. They won 14 games last year. They won like 44 or 45 this year. But the Knicks, they've shown the inability to beat the top teams. So the Pistons are not a top team. I got the Knicks in 5. The Celtics versus the Magic. The reigning champs versus the up-and-comers, who had a pretty disappointing season, but not because they weren't good enough, because they had injuries. I got the Celtics in 5. I think the Magic, this is kind of like a lost season, to be honest. Celtics are the reigning champs for a reason. Back-to-back 60-win seasons. They're favorites to make the NBA Finals. Now, swapping conferences to the West second round. Thunder versus the Nuggets. I mean, the Thunder will win this series, which will make the Jokic fans mad. This is the top 2 MVP candidates. This will be a social media war. It'll be a war zone. I think the Thunder do win. They got way too many players. I as soon as I saw that they added Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein in free agency in the offseason, I knew this team was going to be special. And they proved to be special. 68 wins. Easily one of the best teams in NBA history, at least during the regular season. Thunder won in 6, even though Jokic will probably put up a monster stat line. Now for a series that, if it were to happen, would be one of the most exciting in the entire playoffs. Lakers versus Warriors, the 2 biggest superstars clashing in the NBA, the 2 biggest fan bases clashing in the NBA. And whoever wins this, I mean, I'm glad they'd be playing each other in this scenario, because at least one annoying fan base would go down, and I'd see them in despair. I know I'm a hater, okay? I know. We all know what LeBron, Steph, Jimmy Butler, Luka, Austin Reeves will do. It's really on the role players to make the biggest impact on this series and to give their respective teams the biggest advantage. Like, for example, Rui Hachimura, or for the Warriors, Brandon Podziemski. If those players play good, their team's chances of winning the series go up exponentially. Now, I trust Brandon Podziemski a little bit more, but when it comes to superstars, some people may say that Austin Reeves is a rising superstar. He's like a future All-NBA player. I don't see that. I just think he's getting a bunch of good looks because he has LeBron and Luka on his team, but he is a really good player. He's progressed really nicely from his rookie season. I do think the Lakers win in 6 games. Steph will go home. Now for the East second round, the first matchup, Cavaliers versus the Pacers. I have the Cavaliers winning in 5 games. The Pacers, unless some drastic injuries happen for the Cavaliers, like what happened to the Pacers' opponents last playoff run, I don't see the Pacers even getting 2 games on the Cavaliers. I know they just beat the Cavs, and like people would say, oh, they just beat the Cavs on Sunday. The Cavs and the Pacers were resting all their players. So if you don't know that, you don't know ball, okay? Okay. Now, what's crazy about the Cavaliers is that, in my opinion, they don't have a top 10 player on the roster. Like, the best player would be Donovan Mitchell. I don't think he's top 10. He's probably he's most definitely top 15. He's creeping in on the top 10, but I don't think he's top 10 right now. And he might not never be top 10 in his entire career, because like this is probably going to be his peak, what we're seeing right now. Now for the 2-3, Celtics versus the Knicks. I have the Celtics beating the Knicks in 5. The Knicks rather have gone 0-10 against the top 3 teams in the NBA. That would be the Cavaliers, the Thunder, and the Celtics. 0-10. They haven't won a single game. Now, I'm saying that, and you're asking probably, then why do I have them winning a game? Because I can't see the Knicks getting swept out of the playoffs, going 0-14 against the top 10, the top 3 teams in the NBA. So I'll give them 1 game, but that's all they'll get. Celtics 1-5. And that would set up a date in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics, which has seemed like it was on a collision course for like the last 2 or 3 months. Now moving on to the Western Conference Finals, I've been hearing a lot of trash talk from Lakers fans, especially my brother Drew, saying that the Thunder can't handle the Lakers. Now the Lakers have actually, I might be misremembering, but I think the Lakers have beat the Thunder more than the Thunder beat the Lakers during the regular season. I might be wrong. Thunder will win this series. I know people say, oh, they're too young, but that's what they said last year, and they won 57 games and made the second round and took the future Western Conference champions to the 6 games. They brought in some veterans, so everyone got a year older, more experienced. Shea took somehow another huge leap. He's probably going to be the MVP. And then they added Alex Caruso, who is an NBA champion with the Lakers. And they added Isaiah Hartenstein, who was dominant in the Knicks playoff run last year. I think that'll put him over the edge. Now, obviously, you could say LeBron's been there, done that. He's inarguably a top 2 player of all time. And most people my age would say he's the greatest. I won't get into that, okay? I won't get into that. But there's just something about the Thunder. It seems inevitable that they're gonna win. Like you don't break a 53-year-old record for highest point differential in a single NBA season for nothing. You don't become the 7th NBA team to ever win 68 games for nothing. They're just super well-rounded. They're deep. They have a superstar that's inarguably a top 3 player in the entire NBA. They have veteran role players, up-and-coming role players, up-and-coming starters. They have everything, man. Thunder in 6, I feel. Now for the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Boston Celtics. This one could go either way. It was even during the regular season, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was 2-2. I will pick the Celtics, though, just because of the experience and that they're the reigning champs, okay? This isn't actually an unpopular opinion. This is actually a popular opinion as of probably like the last month. But I've had this opinion since the preseason. I also had the Thunder in the preseason making the NBA Finals as well. The Celtics are too experienced, I feel. No, it's not like the Cavaliers are like young by any means. They haven't made it this far since LeBron. The Celtics, they've won 61 games this season, and their 3-point percentage has gone down dramatically. Last year they won 64 games. They had I think 5 players shooting over 40% from 3 or something crazy like that. This year they only have 2. But they still won 61 games. I think they will beat the Cavaliers to make it to the NBA Finals to face the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now for the NBA Finals, the OKC Thunder versus the Boston Celtics. 2 very different teams, when it comes to history, 2 very different fan bases. Boston has enjoyed immense success over their franchise's history. The Thunder, not so much. Now, in recent history, yes, like the last 10 to 15 years, yes. The Thunder are also a small market team. This is going to be a very interesting NBA Final series. And I will have the Oklahoma City Thunder beating the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. It actually will go the full length. It will go 7 games. I just think SGA is the best player in the series, comfortably, honestly. Now, a lot of people say, oh, he's a foul merchant. He won't get those foul calls during the postseason. He literally did last season. He averaged like 30 points per game or like 28 points per game last season in the playoffs. So I don't know where that narrative is coming from. And that will do it. The Oklahoma City Thunder win their first NBA championship as the Thunder, but their first as a franchise since 1979. Obviously, you'd assume that SGA would win the Finals MVP. He'd complete one of, if not the best, NBA season in Thunder history. He won in one of the best seasons in NBA history. This will be a fun NBA playoffs. The narratives, the storylines, I'm excited. It starts on April 19th. Very excited. Can't wait. Thanks for watching this video, guys.